Well, now, without doubt, now we're on the 5th month of the year. And guess what, guys? We are remaining with 7 months to go for us to clear this 2024. Well, it depends on when you're watching this video. Actually, I'm making this video on, it's around May, and it's on the 12th May, around there, okay? Now, the point is this now. What exactly are you supposed to do? And this I'm going to share with you. It is exactly do this in the next 7 months before the 2025 shows up. Right now, as we speak, probably you might feel like, anyway, time has gone, you've given up the dreams that you had, all the targets that you had. And you remember the first time, the first day of this year, I actually made a video and talked about the savings challenge. And we embarked on a savings challenge of $1,000 US. That's like 100,000 Kenyan shillings, okay? We embarked on that challenge. Some of you are on the right track. Some of you have actually sent me an inbox and telling me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I've already hit the target. I'm about to hit the target. I actually lost along the way and all those kind of things. Irrespective of wherever you are, you still have the 7 months to go. And this is the most important thing that you're supposed to understand. It is not too late to make a difference as far as this year is concerned. Probably you may not end up with the money that you wanted, but you can end up with the character that you need in 2025. And the worst thing that I usually find people do is that they usually tend to have sort of a new entrance or new beginning when there's a beginning of the new year. One thing that you're supposed to understand, don't do things that most of the people do at the beginning of a given year. This is what you're supposed to do. See, we have only 7 months, okay? Now, these 7 months that you need is the only period of time that you need to transform yourself. I do not promise that you're going to transform yourself financially free and become wealthy and all those kind of things. Honestly speaking, I'll be lying. But there is something that I know for sure you can be able to do. And by the time that now the 2025 comes in, you can be able to do a great thing. Now, this is what I want you to do in the next 7 months. But before you even go to what you're supposed to do in the next 7 months, I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I want you to like the video and make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that as well you comment on the comment section. Number 2, I want you to focus on what has happened since the year started. What did you aim that you haven't done? What were the shortcomings, or what did you exactly that made you achieve the target that you wanted? There is no way we can focus on the future without flashing back on the past to actually identify some of the mistakes that we did, so that we can rectify, adjust, so that we can face the future in a better way. So right now, if I may ask a very simple question, why didn't you achieve the goal that you wanted from the beginning of the year? Is it because of indiscipline? Is it because of you certain have weakness? And what is the weakness that you have, and what are you doing to address that weakness? For example, irrespective of the amount of money that you're earning right now, let's take a very simple example. For the next 6-7 months, let's say, for example, you earn 30K a month, okay? That's the amount of money that you earn. Or even let's talk about 20K, okay? This is the amount of money that comes in your account. Now, what you do is this. Obviously, I don't promise you that you're going to make $1 million at the end of this year. But if you take out these 20 Gs that you have at the end of the month, you can decide, hey, I haven't been saving nothing. Why? Because probably my expenses are way equivalent to what I make, or they're above of what I usually make. How about you do this for the next 7 months? And guess what? Never forget this. It only takes 91 days. It only takes 91 days. Guess what? To do what? To make a character. To make a character about your life. Therefore, they usually say, do something for the next 21 days. Do it for the next 61 days. Do it for the next 91 days. By the time you get from 0 to 21 days, at this particular point, what happens? You actually try to sort of reconfigure yourself. Reconfigure yourself. And then the moment you click on 61 days, you already have yourself a habit. And the moment you continue until the 91 days, guess what now happens? You have a character. And if now you have the character now, you're already accustomed to doing something. For example, if you decide to show up to a gym, it is usually very hard for you to go consistently for the next 21 days. But the moment now you hit the 21 days, you start to reconfigure yourself, the body readjusts. The moment you hit 61 days, continuously like that. So for the next 7 months, obviously, that's like 3 months when you talk about the 91 days. So you obviously have then 31 or 3 months to actually make yourself a character, and the next 4 months to continually work on that specific thing. So say you earn this amount of money, you can spare as low as, well, I know when we talk about saving 20% of this should be 4K, but if you're not in a position to, how about you even save half of that, which is 10% of it, which is 2,000. So if you want to save this amount of money, you go ahead and price yourself for the next, if maybe you earn daily, you can do so continuously for the next 21 days, or if you earn monthly, then you can do so for the next 3 months, the first month, the second month, and the third month. Now you're remaining with the 7 months. So by the time now you're saying we are ushering the new 2025, you already, guess what? You already know the strategy strategy that you have. If you ask me honestly, I would say the next 7 months, lay a strategy. Now, this is what I want you to do. Go ahead and lay the strategy. By the time the 2025 shows up, you already have a strategy. Lay a strategy now. Lay a strategy right now. Lay a strategy and actually go ahead and do what we call test the trust strategy. Test the strategy. Why am I saying test the strategy? Because you can imagine this. For example, say you have never gone to a gym, then the new year comes in. We are on the 1st January of 2025, for example. Then you've never shown up to a gym and you'll be like, hey, I'm gonna show up to a gym, I'm gonna be doing I don't know what push-ups and whatever. You've never even tried anything. So you actually try to do something that you have never done. So you are learning at the same time. But what if you embark as early as this right now as we are speaking? That way you're gonna do the specific thing that can help you grow yourself to the next level. Now the next point is that identify. I want you to identify your greatest financial weakness. What is your greatest financial weakness? See, if you identify, oh, I'm a spender. Oh, guess what? I'm a paranoid person. Oh, guess what? I'm this kind of a guy who is affected by comfort. Oh, guess what? I'm actually this guy who is actually ruled by the fear. I really fear investing my money. I usually fear because I don't want to lose my money. Oh, guess what? My greatest problem or my greatest weakness is that I'm a hoarder. Hoarder in the sense that I'm this kind of a guy who just accumulates the money, but you don't want to invest it and all those kind of things. So the point is this: you should always identify your greatest weakness, because without you appreciating the fact that you know your weakness, you can never get yourself into an investment. For example, I understand myself. Okay, for my case, you find like I know exactly how I respond to cash, because I don't want to put my cash where like I don't put my mouth where my money is. I have to take a little bit of time before accessing my cash and all those kind of things. So what happens is that I have to identify myself. What is my weakness? What is my stronghold? And then you focus on that. And then if you realize, then again, by virtue of you identifying your weakness, by default, then you ought to identify your stronghold. So if you identify your stronghold again, and I'm saying with reference to finances, by the way, I've ever met some guys who says, I'm so much at making money, but how to spend it, that's what the problem is. So your stronghold is already how to make your cash. And then your weakness within that stronghold is that you do know how to make the cash, but how to spend it, that's when the problem is. Therefore, if you identify your weakness as far as your strong strength, in that case regard, for the next 7 months, try to readjust yourself. By the time now to 2025 shows up, you've already adjusted. You already know who you are. You get what I'm saying? Rather than just identify these things along the time that you need to do something. At that particular time, you're doing two things and you might actually fail. You're identifying yourself, you're learning all through, you realize, hey, guess what? I cannot even do something. There's some people who usually have resolutions of doing chesty and running and doing all those kind of things. And then you realize you usually have a body complications. You cannot go do gyms and what have you and all those kind of things, okay? Now, the next 7 months, what have I said is that we need to strategize on. Lay a strategy in the sense that, hey, guess what? Well, I usually have unrealistic goals. There's some people of you who usually have unrealistic goals. Unrealistic goals is this kind of goals when you find somebody, you're earning like, let's say 20K, and then your goal is to save $1 million bob. I mean, seriously, well, I'm not saying that it's not possible. Miracles do happen, but seriously, financially, that is not applicable. You really need to do something that can actually help you to achieve that specific goal. So lay a strategy that you know it is working, it is actually logical, it is achievable, and that way, I'm not saying that you should not dream big. You should, but be strategic as you dream. Some people usually discourage themselves by virtue of you having a bigger goal than capability of yourself. I remember back when I was in high school, we used to be told by our teachers that there's a difference between you deciding an A in the brain or the capability of the brain achieving the A. You might desire an A and you're a C student. So that case scenario is that you're deciding that something that your brain is incapable of achieving it. So the moment you when you are laying your strategies on how to invest, then you should actually go ahead and ask yourself, the reality is I earn 20, the reality is I earn 30, I earn 40, I earn 300, I earn $1 million, whichever the amount of money. So the goal, again, do not have this kind of what should I say? For example, say you earn something like 250K a month. 250K a month, and then your goal is to save 500. I mean, seriously, You can do this in 3 months, you know, if you decide you can do this in 3 months, you have all the money. So you cannot say you're earning 250 a month. Well, that is after the deductions. And then you're telling me that now the target that you have this year is to save 500. You under aiming. You know, that is called under aiming, if that's a correct English name. Anyway, it is what it is. Now, the next thing that I want you to do for the next 7 months is go ahead and identify your greatest weakness as far as the finances are concerned. If your problem is having things to do with spending the cash, then focus on how you can actually channel that cash to a point of, you see, there are people who will tell you, hey, if I have the cash, Joseph, I usually utilize it a lot to a point whereby I even think that I do misuse my money. So try it as much as you can to avoid having the idle money. See, you can actually commit yourself, find a commitment, and then you commit yourself towards that. And once you commit yourself towards that, then exactly means that you ain't gonna have any kind of money. In that case, regard, then it means in future you're gonna get yourself into a situation whereby you're not misusing your cash. For example, you can look. Sometimes I tell people, if you truly know that you have a big problem when it comes to you having idle money, you have to use it. You'd rather even buy that asset that always say, even if it does not generate any income, just commit yourself into buying that asset. After all, I mean, you'd rather even get an asset that does not generate any income or cash flow rather than just having the money in liquid. Then at the end of the day, you squander all the money and it disappears in the thin air, and then you start regretting future, you know, saying, hey, oh, I don't know where my money is going, and all those kind of things and all those nitty-gritties. So it is good to make sure that at least you understand yourself. Okay, let's go to the last point. That was about having understanding or your strength or your stronghold. What do you exactly made up of? Okay, if you know this is my stronghold, leverage on that for the next 7 months. So it will become a bit easier for you by the time now the 2025 shows up, because you've already know yourself. Because the reason why I find most of the people they don't even achieve their goals, it is because you do not even understand yourself. You've never even sat down and tried to do some scrutinize, know who you are, what you're made up of, what your strongholds, your weaknesses, what you're able to, the opportunities around. And also, it's a good point that I should add on that. It is good to identify opportunities. Identify opportunities around, you know. When I say identify opportunities around, I don't mean like you really have to think hard. All what you need to do, just be a little bit, you know, what we say, be a little bit curious, look around and see what you can be able to tap. Because I do believe we are surrounded by opportunities, and opportunities are usually birthed by the problems. See, those challenges that you see, those are those things that you can call them challenges, what have you. Those are areas where the opportunities are available. So if you leverage on that, then it's gonna be an amazing occasion. All right, anyway guys, guess what, that marks the end of my video. But don't forget this, my booklet about financial personal practical financial guidance is actually ready, and you can get yourself a copy. Goes for only 300 Kenyan shillings. That's like $2.5 or something of sort. Yeah, and you can get the copy. My email is on the description of this specific video, or my number is as well on the specific description of this video. So you can shoot either a call on my WhatsApp, or you can shoot me an email, and then from that we can be able to have a discussion. I can throw you the copy, and from there we can be able to get started. For now, it's a goodbye, but don't forget, if you're watching for the first time, go ahead and like the video, go ahead and subscribe, and make sure that you comment on the comment section. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.